Hey, y'all. We are back again with another one. I am so excited that you are here with me with Intentional Living podcast with SonjaW. And listen, I am back again to assist you with starting your week off with just a little bit less chaos. All right, y'all. So listen, I can't wait to get into today. But first of all, can we talk about how Marilyn likes to gaslight us and lie to us and act like, it's going to be spring. And then she turns back into, I guess, what is this, fall? I don't know what this is. But I mean, I should be used to it. But I'm never used to it. Last week, if you guys are in Maryland, last week, the weather was hot almost. Actually, it wasn't hot. It was beautiful. It was 70 degrees. It was just amazing. And last week, I got excited. But then I was like, wait a minute. I remember Maryland. Maryland does not stay. She don't stay. She don't have a routine. Okay. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about today. And now this week, we back in the 40s and 50s. And Maryland, I love her. And I also don't love her. But anyway, how are y'all doing? Are y'all doing good? I just be starting with extra stuff, but it's fine. Again, I cannot wait to break down these things that we do every single week to make sure that our week starts off exactly how it needs to start off. We're going to break down one good thing that happened to us this past week to get our mindsets right and get our mindsets ready for the day. We're going to talk about at least one thing that's on the docket, one thing that we're going to get done this week so that we can move our intentional life forward, right? We got dreams, we got goals, we got all the things that we desire. So we're going to be focused on making sure that we at least get one thing done so that we can get closer to closing that gap between our dreams and our reality. Okay. And then we're just going to give you a quick little topic. We're actually going to be ending up today with the last step on the still process. I've been talking about this for the last, 5-6 weeks now. We've been breaking down the still process, which is the stairwell to intentional living. And I am just so excited. But first of all, let me talk about my one good thing. If you're on the live, thank you so much. If you're catching the replay on Spotify or on YouTube, hey y'all, make sure that you put down your one good thing in the comments below, okay? I want to see it. Okay? So anyway, one good thing. I actually got two good things this past week. It has been a full week. And I'm hoping that this week won't be as full. But hey, you know what? Full weeks actually mean that you're doing some good work, right? Typically. Now, if it's chaotic, I'm going to talk about that in a few weeks, actually. Let me not focus on today. So anyway, good things. One, I got to babysit. I love my niece and nephew. I always learn so much from these two kiddos. They're 5 and 3, and I got a chance to babysit them this Friday, and it was, as usual, amazing. We watched Paw Patrol. We watched some Baby Shark something, and I was cracking up. Some of these cartoons are pretty hilarious. I don't know if it's just me or I don't know, but I was cracking up. We played games. We played Sorry. We played my nephew's version of Sorry. It was not the actual game rules, but it was still fun. What else we do? Just so much fun. And again, I just love to do that, right? And I encourage you. That is part of one of my, if you've been listening to me for a while, I talk about the 6 key relationships that we have to cultivate in our lives. And one of them is family, right? So that for me is really important, that I cultivate a relationship with my niece and nephew, that I am loving on my brother and sister and allowing them to go have their little dates at least once a month. So that again is really important to me. So I make sure that I do that. I encourage you to really take a look at those 6 key relationships. I talk about this. I believe I talked about it in either episode 2 or 3. But also I have whole video series on those relationships on my YouTube channel. Okay. So The other good thing was that I actually got to be on a panel. So a friend of mine is doing really dope things for rising juniors and seniors. She has an organization called Uprooted Academy. Go check it out, by the way. Just Google it. You'll find it. Get her on, follow her on Instagram. But she had a virtual career fair where she had all types of different disciplines coming together to talk about their career journeys. And it was amazing. I got to be in the social sciences panel because my degree is in public health, and I work in the public health space. So it was really, really cool to just talk to these kids, to show them, to talk about my career path, how it was not a straight line. Up until junior year, I believed I was going to be a pediatrician. Matter of fact, I did talk about this in the Acknowledging Your Dreams podcast, which I believe was episode 2. It was just amazing. I always love to encourage and help people get to their next step. That's like one of my major core beliefs and desires, is to help people to get to their next step, to help people connect to their calling, their purposes, all of those things, the things that God has placed in them. I help people build that. I help people connect that in their lives and actually organize their lives so that you can actually see those dreams come to pass, right? So it was great. I had a great time. So my weekend, I'm actually a little tired, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm a little tired, but it has been an amazing, amazing ride just hanging out with those. So check it out. If you're on the live right now, I would love to see what good things did you do this past week, because this is what's gonna help you organize your life for this next week. It's gonna help you believe that you could do some great stuff, all right? So let me know in the comments if you're catching the replay on Spotify or on YouTube. Definitely check it out. Okay, get down there and get it, or get down there and write it. Don't get it, write it. Okay. So I broke down that one good thing. Again, the purpose of actually talking about those good things is to really set your mindset in a place of growth. Set your mindset in a place where you can actually do what you believe that you want to do in life, because you already know that you've done some good stuff before. All right, now let's talk about what is on the docket. This is the next step in a weekly review, and that's kind of the whole point to this, right? To kind of help you build your own weekly review and weekly routine. We're going to be talking about routines today. I'm excited about that. But anyway, so what's on the docket is what is coming up this week that you want to accomplish, that you want to set up. Okay. So for me, what's on the docket is to start prepping for my reset course. So every quarter, I'm actually still kind of toying with how I want to roll it out, but definitely every quarter I do my own reset. So we're almost up to the end of first. Can you believe that we're almost to the end of first quarter? That is wild. That is actually wild. I can't believe we're almost at the end of the first quarter. But anyway, every quarter I do something called a reset, where I take some time to look, to be thankful, to close the door, and then to dream. And I actually have a course worth walking through that. So I'm kind of like starting to think about how I'm going to prep that and what and how I'm going to roll that out for you guys. So if you're interested, I suggest you get on my email list. You'll be able to see the links below to join that. So I can tell you, so that you can be the first one to know. So that's going to be like the major thing that I'm doing. I'm also still finalizing my new affirmation email gift. I'm kind of trying to build it out and make it pretty for you guys, because I really want you guys to do what you need to do, right? I want you guys to actually be winning at life. And I see one of my live folks just said that they received a certification in sustainable interior design. Now that is fancy. I might have to talk to you, sis. Okay, but But yes, that's super, super excited. Again, if you're catching us just now, this is walking through a couple of good things, what's on your docket, and then we're going to talk about this win topic. We're going to talk about our intentional week. Okay. So, all right. Now, let's talk about the topic, the intentional topic of the week. And it is actually the last step in the stairwell to intentional living process. And I'm excited about this one because this is the one that we get to win at. Okay. Yeah, it's corny. It's winning. We're going to be winning. And we win by practice. So, quick recap. Throughout these couple of weeks, we have been talking about the 4 steps of the stairwell to intentional living, right? The first step is acknowledging your dreams, acknowledging that there has been something placed in you to profit and to push forward God's glory, right? It is a dream that is on your heart to help impact your world, right? So we must acknowledge that, yes, that is the truth. And 2, that our dreams are worth pursuing. So I talk about that process, and I talk about how to actually walk forth in the dreams of our hearts. Then I talked about living by principle. Now, I actually talked about live by principle. Which one did I do twice? It was live by principle. I did live by principle twice because there was just so much in this whole step, right? And there's even more to living by principle. But the main thing is that you're living by principle. You're living by the values that you believe are important in your life. And I suggest that you always do those in those 6 relationships, those 6 key relationships in life. I believe that we got 6 areas. I'm about to do 6, and that's not 6. But 6, I believe that there are 6 areas, 6 key relationships that we all have and that we all must cultivate to be able to live a well-rounded and beautiful intentional life. And I talk about that in those 2 podcasts, the Live by Principle podcasts. Then the last one that I talked about last week was execute by process. So we've acknowledged our dreams. We know we got dreams that we want to pursue. We know that we got to live by principle, live by our values. And we've set up our key relationships, and we've set up where we are and where we want to go. And we've begun to write down the steps that we need to take to actually close that gap between where we want to go and where we are, right? Those are the first 2 steps, or first 2 steps of the stairwell to intentional living. Well, now this 3rd step is to actually execute. And we execute by process. Okay. I only talked about one key process in last week, which was goal setting. And that's actually a really key process to this key. But goal setting is super, super, super important because it allows you to actually put action to closing that gap. I talk about dreams meeting reality, right? We have our dreams. We have where we want to go. We have these big, audacious ideas of what we want to do and where we want to go. And then we have where we are. And there's a gap, right? Executing by process closes that gap. It may take a long time, may take a short time to actually get to those big audacious goals. But when you're processing, when you're executing by process, you're going to see incremental changes in your life. And you're going to see yourself get closer and closer and closer to those dreams, right? Well, now we're going to be talking about finally winning by practice. One of the key things that I think is that intentional life is a reflective life. You're constantly looking at the results of your actions and addressing them accordingly. That is how you win. That is how you win at this intentional life. You're actually looking back and learning from your past, not being stuck there, because that's a thing. And I'll talk about that in the reset course, actually, in closing the door on your past, but not being stuck there, but actually looking back and seeing what lessons you can learn from that, right? And looking back and learning and tweaking your routines. You know, one of my favorite verses, and it's kind of like the main pillar to everything that I do, is Psalm 90:12. Matter of fact, I even got it behind me. You can't really see it, but it's right here. I have it on my wall behind me, and it says to teach us to use wisely all the time we have. And it is this psalm is the psalmist who wrote this is talking to God and is saying, like, God, you made my life, you set me up, you did all these things, you've created life, and you've given us a set amount of time. Like they say, I believe somewhere in that psalm it says, you've given us 70, maybe 80 years. It literally says that. So it's so cool that our average lifespan is typically 70 to 80 years. But that's besides the point. I can get nerdy anyway, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there because that's not what we're talking about today. But this is one of the key things that I'm always asking God, like, teach me how to use my time wisely. And I think one of the key things that we can do with that is to have routines. You already have routines. Here's another quote for you. We are what we repeatedly do. This is a quote from Aristotle. We are what we repeatedly do. I was thinking about my own life and thinking about the fact that all of us already have routines, and our routines are telling us who we are because we are what we repeatedly do. So what are your routines telling you? What are your routines telling you about yourself? My routines for a long time did not tell me that I was the person that I aspired to be, right? I aspired to be fit, but I was eating all types of junk, right? Now, granted, sometimes I still do, but I'm getting better. My dreams told me that I wanted to be an author, but I did not write. I did not try. I didn't do anything or set up any life routines that would help me do that until I did. And now I have a devotional and I got other things coming. But praise be to God. A long time, my routines did not tell me that I actually cared about my family, right? So changing how I did things was key. For a long time, my routines didn't tell me that I was the friend that I said I wanted to be. So I changed my routines, the woman of God that I wanted to be. So I changed my routines. So what are your current routines telling you about yourself? Well, first of all, let me actually break down routines real quick, okay? Routines are the practices that you do daily. Let me actually give you the definition. The definition of a routine is a sequence of actions regularly followed, a fixed program, performed as a part of a regular procedure rather than a special reason. So a routine isn't something special. Sometimes routines are boring. A lot of times routines are boring, but they're telling you about yourself. Okay. Remember, you are what you repeatedly do. So what is your sequence of actions regularly followed? What is your fixed program? What is something that is performed as part of a regular procedure rather than a special occasion, telling you about yourself? Because we are what we repeatedly do. So routines are just so key in your life. A routine needs to define where you're going, what you're doing, how you're doing it, right? And that's honestly the cheat code. That's honestly the end all be all of all these things. We can acknowledge our dreams all we want. We can put processes in place, right? Our goals and all that kind of stuff. We can write down our values. We can write down our principles. We can say, this is where I want to go. This is where I am. But if we don't build routines to actually execute, to actually get us closer to our desired state, then we're never going to make it. We're not going to have the intentional life that we believe we desire, we want. So I really encourage you to take some time and look at you know what? We got homework today. We got homework. I want you to take some time and look at the actions that you repeatedly do. If you've been following me and you have gone through these podcasts, I'm hoping that you're just not listening to what I'm saying and throwing it away. I'm hoping that you're actually taking some time to acknowledge your dreams, to begin to write down your own principles and begin to look at the processes that you do, right? But I encourage you to take some time and look at your routines and really decide, are my routines actually getting me closer to where I want to be? We are what we repeatedly do. So what are your repeated actions telling you about you? Oh, That rhymed a little bit. All right, y'all. So that's all I got for you today. We broke down over these past 7 weeks. We talked about a monthly review in there as well. And next week we're going to be talking about monthly reviewing. But we talked about acknowledging our dreams. We talked about living by principle. We talked about executing by process. And today we learned that we are what we repeatedly do. And we're going to begin to win by practice. So I encourage you to take some time and look at your routines. This is the homework. Look at your routines and see, are these routines telling me what I want to hear? Are they telling me that I am the person that I desire to be? Okay. And if not, I encourage you to start looking at your routines and figuring out what needs to change. If you need help with that, I'm here. Join my email list so that you can get a hold of this information and begin the process of really learning how to be still, learning how to live this stairwell of intentional living. Okay. Sorry. We got into it. We got it done. Now, of course, I cannot end without our Dreamboost prayer, without our prayer of the week. So, all right, guys, let's pray. Lord, teach us to use wisely the time that you have given us. Help us see the importance of each moment and to live accordingly. Let us not miss the things that we are to learn along the journey in our intentionally lived lives. Show us how to transform our routines so that we can see our lives transformed. All right, y'all. I hope that was good for y'all. Join me next week. Listen to this on Spotify. If you're on the live, go back and listen to it on Spotify when it comes out on Tuesday so that you can really get these principles and these ideas down pat in your life. All right. See y'all next week.